And tiringadrone.com. Today I'm going to be doing a test flight with my G2D gimbal Walkera. I'm going to be adding in the pitch wire into the signal wire of the V303 seeker. I want to see what kind of video I can get out of this. I'll splice that in. So I always keep my Walkera gimbal in a box prior to putting it on in the field. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out the servo wire, which is one white wire, and then I'm going to go ahead and hook this in. The polarity's on the far left side, right under pitch, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this servo wire in, and then I'm going to go ahead and next slide the gimbal onto the V303 seeker. Now I've already powered up and calibrated the seeker, so I'm going to go ahead and tuck these wires into the battery bay, close that up so that way they're not interfering, and slide this on like so. I got to try to be careful so I don't knock any of the bushing balls off there, because then the gimbal could fall from the sky. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the servo wire. It's going to go on the far right side as the signal, and then I'm going to go ahead and plug in the power. Now I only have a few seconds before the gimbal powers up and locks into position. If you don't hold it like this, it'll start to vibrate and it'll move all over and funky directions. So we got power to it. As you can see, it just rolled straight up. So I'm going to have to hit the pitch button on my transmitter to try to get this to move back the other way. Let me unplug it. Let me try doing it again, holding it a little bit more steady. And so as you can see, it's rolling again. Now I think what's causing this is that it's old saved data in the transmitter of the position of the gimbal. It resets after every flight and it goes into the highest setting possible. It's almost reversed, so now you can see it slowly starting to come back around. Let me go ahead and pick it up. See if setting it on the ground or holding it in the air might make any difference here. So I'm going to keep hitting down on the button on the transmitter. It's starting to roll further. Okay, now it's almost in a position to where I'd want it. Now I need to turn it on, and this is a mistake I did. You should always turn on your camera before putting it in or powering it up, because every time you go to try to hit the power button, if you move it, then the camera moves with the gimbal with your movement, so you're kind of chasing your own ass there. So I'm going to spread these boxes apart so then that way the gimbal's got enough clearance, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure I can get it level so everything appears to be level. And we got a small vibration, so we're going to fire this up. I was getting some funky signals. I'm not sure how it's going to fly with this pitch wire in here. I've never flown it with the pitch wire in here. Some people have requested to see a video and see how it handles, so far so good. A little bit of a drift, nothing too major. So we'll go ahead and fly it out here into this field, and then we'll go ahead and start hitting on the pitch button to see if the camera will start to pitch up and down like it's supposed to be. So fly out here just a little bit further, try to get a stable position, so then that way I can start looking at the controller and hitting the button on my transmitter. It's not marked because I have a training transmitter, because my original transmitter actually came defective. So looks like we're getting it kind of in a steady position here. Wind's tussling it around a little bit, so not holding its position very well. Now I don't know if this is because of the because of the gimbal, but now we'll start to do our pitch up and pitch down, testing it out. So we're going to pitch up and we'll try to pitch a little bit up further. So I'm not sure what the view is. This isn't FPV. We'll pitch back down, see what we get. I am not too pleased with the way that it's flying and handling its position. This is kind of the worst I've had it in some time as far as the holding its position. It's drifting quite a bit around. There is some wind today, so I'm pitching up and down still. Pitching up right now. There's no LED markers on the transmitter to tell me what level I am as far as pitch up, pitch down. It's just all a guessing game from here on the ground. So I'll have to go back and look at the video in order to be able to figure out exactly what's going on with it. So I'm not liking the way this is flying. It's flying a little weird. It's kind of drifting all over the place, so I'm going to actually back up and I'm going to land this. I don't like this pitch wire in here. Something seems to be off with the quadcopter and it's flying a little erratic. It's going against the wind and the drift. It's drifting in different directions. So I'm going to bring it down for a nice smooth landing and check it out. There we go, we're down. So I'm going to go ahead and check out this wire. And actually, I'm just going to take the pitch wire off. This thing's just vibrating and beating itself against the ground. So let me straighten this back out. Seems like the gimbal's a little bit better now with that not plugged in. I just don't know if it's a bad signal being sent from the transmitter to the quadcopter with that pitch wire in there. So I'm going to go ahead and set it on the boxes again. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take off on the quadcopter. The gimbal itself is just in there. So let's take it for a fly it around here in the field. Now I don't have the pitch wire in there, so I'm only getting the basic functions of the gimbal, which is preventing any sway, keeping it level, and trying to reduce the jello to the best of its ability. So far it's been pretty good about reducing jello, but if there's strong vibrations from the wind, that can kind of knock it around. So I might actually try to get some the bushing balls or the anti-vibration balls to stiffen this up. So we'll just go ahead and cruise this sucker around out here in the field and just move it back and forth, get some video. We got some fairly good distance, so I'm pretty pleased with the range. It looks like my range issue's been solved. Putting in that new receiver, using the new transmitter, don't think it's having an issue. I'm pretty far out, probably the furthest I've been out. I'll go ahead and take this up in the air a little bit, see what kind of shot we can get here. About 100 or so feet up in the air. Pan around, take a look at the surroundings, the mountains in the background. Not a whole lot to see, but this is a quiet field that I found that I can fly without interruptions. The mountain and the trails that I fly on, there's a lot of foot traffic, so always people wanting to stop and talk and look at the drones, and it's a little hard to fly and narrate a video when you got people wanting to talk to you. So still handling not the way I would like it to. Getting some drift, not holding its position, so kind of baffled at the moment because it was holding its position a lot better over the past few days with the gimbal on there, minus the pitch wire, because this is the first time I had the pitch wire in. The pitch wire is not in anymore. Possibly I needed to power down the gimbal prior to taking back off, kind of reset it, maybe reset the signals to the quadcopter. But nevertheless, we'll just cruise around the field here, back and forth. That way we can try to get some video to show. So it's still acting a little goofy. Not quite sure what to make of it just at the moment. So take it up a little bit higher, take a look and see. Now it's pretty far out there, as you can see. So we'll start coming back towards myself, and I'm probably about maybe 300 meters out, I would say, 200 meters out, and 150 feet in the air. So very happy at least with the range issues. So let's get it back here. The wind's kind of blowing a little bit hard, so don't want to get it too far out, don't want to get it too high up, especially in this testing phase. Still don't feel 100% confident, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this back. I'm going to land it, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and take off the gimbal and try to show a comparison on the flight difference, if any, with the gimbal off of the quadcopter. So I'm going to go ahead and find a nice level spot to land this. This looks like a pretty decent spot, so I'm going to go ahead and land this bad dog. I'm going to go ahead and take off the gimbal, and then that way we can do another test flight to see what will happen once the gimbal has been taken off. So I'm going to just go ahead and unplug the power here, slide the gimbal off, and I'll go ahead and stop the recording. So it's been taken off now, so I'm ready to fly without the gimbal on, and we'll go ahead and start cruising out the quadcopter here. Now our flight time's pretty good today. With the battery, landing, taking off, a couple changes with the gimbal. I'm going to go ahead and try to fly this more high speed right now, checking to see if there's any difference in the way in which this would be handling with the gimbal off compared to gimbal on, with the pitch wire hooked up. So handling good, just doing some loops here, circling back around, and we'll get it into a hover mode and we'll see if it can hold this position, what the issue could be, and if this solves it by taking the gimbal off. So I just want to cruise it around. I don't get a chance to fly it too fast on normal occasions because I typically have the camera hooked up to it. So I've got it trying to hold its position right now, and I'm getting some drift. It's drifting back to the far left, back left, which is bizarre because the wind's blowing the complete opposite direction, so it should not be drifting this way. So I'll try trimming it up, seeing if maybe this will help out, and keep trying to fly this. We'll do a few more circles here, try our positioning again. And I'm getting some pretty hard drifts. Now, again, this shouldn't be happening, so not sure what to really make of it. I've got the gimbal off, and typically it flies very well without it. So let me see if I can shake it out, shake the compass up a little bit by moving it around. And you know, this is still drifting. I'm giving it constant input on the pitch, moving it forward, just to try to get it to hold a position here. You know, it's drifting again. And it's not even holding its position the least bit now. So now it's basically all manual, and it's me fighting against it. So not sure what to make of it again. So try to cruise it around here just a little bit more. This thing's fun to fly. I mean, fairly fast for a camera bird and a quadcopter its size and its weight. So let's do a few more loops out here, let it drift around, try to get an idea of what's going on with it. I hope I didn't burn a motor out or anything lifting the GoPro. You know, our flight time's going pretty long, so the battery's definitely holding up. No red light flashing, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this in for landing. I need to get this down before my time expires on this. I think we're probably coming up on possibly, you know, 10 minutes plus of flying, so we'll find a nice smooth spot, and I'm just going to hover around here just so I can see if I can notice any issues here. It's pulling to the back back left side, so I'll go ahead and bring it in for a landing. Investigate it. It actually was worse with the gimbal off of the quadcopter, so I'm not sure if something happened, possibly a motor burnt out. Trying to lift the weight of the camera as well as the gimbal on there. So this is the V303 Seeker. Let's go ahead and investigate this a little bit, see if we can see any issues. I notice back prop right here, this is bent in and it looks like it's almost disintegrating. So this was not like this before I took off for the flight. I did not hit it on anything, so there's almost a chunk in a groove, which would cause some weird flying characteristics. Probably what I was experiencing, because this is the back left motor. This is actually bent down, and this is a prop that goes the opposite way, so it's probably causing some weird lift with it. And the only thing I could think is I had the two quadcopters next to each other in the trunk. My F450, they might have smashed together. I did drive down a gravel road in order to get to this field. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is bent underneath at a pretty good degree, so when this is blowing around, the wind is not going to cause the proper amount of lift. So I think that probably solved the problem. I just need to change the prop out. Luckily I have some at home. If this video helped you out, leave a like, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos in the future.